Hi, I'm Reveena and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate pavlova with a whipped cream raspberry swirl topping. It's going to be amazing, very decadent, but at the same time not too heavy because the pavlova is so light. Pavlova is essentially a big meringue disc, which is typically topped with whipped cream and then fruit, but I'm choosing to mix the fruit straight into the whipped cream. In this bowl I've got 6 egg whites. Make sure that you don't get any yolks in with them or they just won't whip up properly. 3 ounces of chocolate chips, semi-sweet, which I've roughly chopped. I have 3 tablespoons of sifted cocoa powder, and it's really important that you sift it. And just 1/4 teaspoon of salt in here. I have 1.5 cups of superfine sugar, and if you don't have superfine sugar, take regular sugar and stick it into a food processor for around 30 seconds, and it's very cool because you really do feel the difference in texture. It's much finer. And then we've got 1 teaspoon of balsamic vinegar, which will ensure that the pavlova is ooey gooey on the inside, even though the exterior is crisp. I decided to make my pavlova on a pizza pan, which is round because the pavlova is going to be round, and this will act as my guide to make a nice circular shape, but you can totally use a normal rectangular baking sheet. Just make sure that it's lined with parchment. I cut my parchment in a circle-ish shape. Just take your parchment, fold it into 4, and cut as we used to do in elementary school, and that's it. The first step to making your pavlova is achieving the stage known as soft peaks. So you have your egg whites, and when you hold them up, they form soft peaks, which essentially means that they're light and fluffy, and they do have some texture to them, but they're definitely not at stiff peaks yet, which is when they're really shiny and glossy. All I'm going to do now is very slowly add 1 teaspoon of sugar at a time while the mixer is running. And it took around 5 minutes to properly add the sugar into the egg whites, and you want to add it in such a way where when you touch it, you don't feel the granules of sugar. They're completely dissolved. So we've basically reached stiff peaks, and it's the time to add in my cocoa and salt mixture. And just mix that right in. Oh, yum. So the chocolate is perfectly mixed in, and I'm going to add my chocolate chips. Yum. And my balsamic vinegar. And just very gently fold those ingredients in. If the parchment isn't sticking, you can just take little dabs of the meringue mixture and put it under the baking sheet and it'll stick. Now I'm just going to lay this out into a circle. My pavlova looks amazing. Now it's time for it to go into the preheated oven, which I'm going to immediately turn down to 300 degrees and bake for 1 hour to 1.5 hours. And you can tell when it's ready when it's just crispy on the outside and yet still gooey on the inside. And we're back. My pavlova is so beautiful. It baked for exactly 1 hour, and the inside is gooey and marshmallowy, and the outside is crisp, and the chocolate chips have just melted. It's amazing. Now, what shall we top it with? I promise you whipped cream and raspberries, and so whipped cream and raspberries you shall get. I have 2 cups of whipped cream, or 2 cups of cream, let's say, that I whipped. And here I have 3 cups of frozen raspberries, and I put them into this saucepan with 1/3 cup of sugar, and literally just brought it to a simmer. All I wanted was the raspberries to essentially thaw and sort of soften. And when they're just cooked, they're much more liquidy, but when you let them cool down, it's a lot less liquid. So it's perfect to go into our whipped cream. So I'm going to put it all in, leaving just a little bit behind, which I'll put right on top. Very, very gently fold this in. Got my mixture totally spread out. And now I'm just going to add that remaining tablespoon of raspberry. To do this, I'm just going to switch to a palette knife. And last things last, if this is a chocolate raspberry pavlova, of course, we need to complete it with a little bit more chocolate. So here I've just got a bar of chocolate. And all you do is put it on a kitchen towel, and that way you can press the bar up against yourself. Use a knife, be very careful, and put the knife straight onto the bar and just pull back, and you'll end up with beautiful shavings, which you can put right on top of the cake. Oh my god. That's perfection right there. You have to try this. Please tell me what you think, and I know you will love it. Make this for your next party because, man, it feeds a lot of people, and it's beautiful. And I will see you next time. Bye.